Well, hey, good morning, Living Hope. Pastor Josh here to say thank you for tuning in and for joining us for this Sunday morning worship service. Before we jump into worship, I got a couple of announcements for you. The first is this. In 2 weeks from today, January 31st, we are going to be resuming our in-person services. Case rates are way down in Island County, and we feel comfortable and confident that we can open back up in a safe way. So we would love to have you join us at our 10:30 a.m. service, Sunday service, 10:30 a.m., January 31st. It's only one service for now until we have to add a second one again. So if you'd love to join us, we would love to have you. So that's the first announcement. The second announcement is this, is that you can give in one of three ways to the church. You can give by sending your check in through the mail, P.O. Box 896, Coopville, Washington, 98239. You can text to give. You can use your smartphone, text any dollar amount to the phone number 84321 and follow the prompts. And third, you can visit our website and click on the Give tab. It's www.livinghopeonwhidbey.org. And while you're on our website, you can also check out our 21 Days of Prayer and Fasting Guide. We've been going through it. You should be at about week 2, starting week 3, finishing out this 21 days. It's been an absolute blessing for me, for my wife, for everybody that I've heard that's participating with it. If you haven't joined in yet, you can do so by visiting the homepage on our website and downloading the Prayer and Fasting Guide. You can start it today. Start with day 1 and go through it. I promise you will be blessed. In the meantime, church, let's go ahead and let's worship the Lord together. I've heard 1,000 stories of what they think you're like, but I've heard the tender whisper of love in the dead of night, and you tell me that you're pleased and that I'm never alone. You're a good, good Father. It's who you are. It's who you are. It's who you are. And I'm loved by you. It's who I am. It's who I am. It's who I am. Oh, I've seen many searching for answers far and wide, but I know we're all searching for answers only you provide, 'cause you know just what we need before we say a word. You're a good, good Father. It's who you are. It's who you are. It's who you are, and I'm loved by you. It's who I am. It's who I am. It's who I am. You're a good, good Father. It's who you are. It's who you are. It's who you are, and I'm loved by you. It's who I am. It's who I am. It's who I am. You are perfect in all of your ways. You are perfect in all of your ways. You are perfect in all of your ways to us. You are perfect in all of your ways. You are perfect in all of your ways. You are perfect in all of your ways to us. Love so undeniable, I can hardly speak, and peace so unexplainable, I can hardly think as you call me, deeper still as you call me, deeper still as you call me, deeper deeper still into love, 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 as you call me, deeper still as you call me, deeper still as you call me, deeper still into love, love, love. You're a good, good Father. It's who you are. It's who you are. It's who you are, and I'm loved by you. It's who I am. It's who I am. It's who I am. You're a good, good Father. It's who you are. It's who you are. It's who you are, and I'm loved by you. It's who I am. It's who I am. It's who I am. Worthy of every song we could ever sing, worthy of all the praise we could ever bring. Yes, you are. You're worthy of every breath we could ever breathe. We live for you. Jesus, a name above every other name. Jesus, the only one who could ever save. You're worthy of every breath we could ever breathe. We live for you. Oh, we live for you. And holy, there is no one like you. There is none besides you. Open up my eyes in wonder and show me who you are, and fill me with your heart and lead me in your love to those around me. Worthy of every song we could ever sing, worthy of all the praise we could ever bring. You're worthy of every breath we could ever breathe. We live for you. We live for you. Jesus, a name above every other name. Jesus, the only one who could ever save. You're worthy of every breath we could ever breathe. We live for you. Oh, we live for you. And holy, there is no one like you. There is none besides you. Open up my eyes in wonder and show me who you are, and fill me with your heart and lead me in your love to trust in you alone, and I will not be shaken. And holy, there is no one like you, there is none beside you. Open up my eyes in wonder and show me who you are, and fill me with your heart, and lead me in your love to those around me. And holy, there is no one like you, there is none beside you. Open up my eyes in wonder and show me who you are, and fill me with your heart, and lead me in your love to those around me.
Good morning, Living Hope, or afternoon, or whatever time it is that you find yourself listening. I'm so glad that you have joined us. Today, as we continue our series on prayer, I'm going to be sharing with you a little bit about my last year to year and a half and how prayer sustained me through some challenging times. So if we were in person, I would love to be chatting with you over a cup of coffee. So if you need to, feel free to pause, go grab yourself a cup of coffee or whatever warm beverage you enjoy, and then join in again. Well, to start this story, I'm going to go back a little ways. On December 31st, 2019, our twin boys, Levi and Oliver, were born. Now, during my pregnancy, they had some health complications, which led to some changes in providers. So initially, we were going to deliver on the island in Coupeville with a midwife. And we went to our first ultrasound and found out it was not one baby, but two babies. And after she looked at the pictures, she said, it looks like they are sharing one placenta. Now, a little twin fact for you, if babies share one placenta, they are definitely identical. You can have identical twins that have their own placentas, but if they share one, they are definitely identical. So we knew we were having identical twins, and we also knew that there was some added risks due to them sharing one placenta. And because of that, we could no longer deliver on island, and our care was transferred over to Providence Hospital in Everett. Well, while we were there, we started having ultrasounds every other week just to monitor the babies, make sure nothing bad was happening, everything was going well. And at our 20-week ultrasound, they found out that our babies had developed TTTS, twin-to-twin transfusion syndrome. Now, basically what this is one baby is a donor baby sending blood and nutrients to the other baby, the recipient. And if untreated, the baby that's receiving everything goes into heart failure. They're pumping way too much blood. They're having all this extra blood that they don't know what to do with. And then the other baby will die from lack of nutrients. So there's a greater than 90% chance that you lose both babies unless you have a surgery, in utero surgery. And so they found out we had TTTS on Friday, and on Monday, we were in the hospital for a surgery. There is only one hospital in the Pacific Northwest that even performs this surgery, and only two surgeons that will do it. So we were very lucky that this was in Kirkland, not too far from us. If we lived in Montana, we'd be traveling to Kirkland. If we lived in Oregon, we'd be traveling to Kirkland. So we were fortunate that we didn't have to go too far. Going into this surgery, I remember meeting the doctor who was going to do the surgery, and her saying the words, this surgery is an attempt to save the pregnancy. And those words felt so heavy because it wasn't like you're going to have two healthy babies after this surgery. There was a 90% chance that one baby would survive and a 60 to 70% chance that both babies would survive. So that was pretty heavy. Not the worst odds, obviously much better than not doing anything, but still not great odds. And a lot of you knew that this was going on. A lot of you were praying for two healthy babies. And I am forever thankful for your prayers because we have two healthy babies today. Well, fast forward, the boys were born 6 weeks early, which is not a big surprise for twins, especially twins following TTTS surgery. And we knew that that meant right after they were born, they would be whisked right away to the NICU. I was discharged just a couple days after they were born, and I had a very normal, what you could even maybe be described as easy recovery. I don't know if you can say that. But everything was just going really well. The hospital where the boys were born is near where Josh and I grew up. We both grew up in Kirkland. That's where this hospital was, where we delivered, and that's where both of our sets of parents still live. And so we were starting to figure out what our new normal was going to look like for a little while. We had the boys in the NICU. The girls were down there with us. We were going back and forth, staying with either side of the family. And we were just starting to figure out a routine. Things were going well. And on January 6, 2020, just about a week after the boys had been born, we had put the girls to bed at Josh's parents' house, and I went to take a sip out of my water bottle that had a straw in it. And I couldn't get my lips to close down around the straw. And that felt really weird, concerning, and so I decided to call my OB's office, and I start to talk to the doctor on call. Now he starts asking me a bunch of questions like, can you smile? And so I'm looking in the mirror and I say, yes. Is your face drooping? I say, no. Again, he asks, can you smile? And I say, yes. And I'm looking at Josh, kind of rolling my eyes, like, why is he asking me these same questions over and over again? In retrospect, he may have been asking some of these questions to decipher if I had a stroke or not. Anyways, we go through all of his questions, and he says, although I can't diagnose you over the phone, it sounds like you may have Bell's palsy, but you're not exhibiting a lot of the facial symptoms that normally come along with that, so it sounds like you've probably caught it quite early, if that's indeed what you have. But anyways, I suggest that you head to the emergency room. So with Josh's parents home with our girls, we head to the emergency room, and we get checked in around 8 o'clock at night, and settle in for what turns out to be the longest emergency room stay of our lives. As we're waiting in the emergency room, I remember Josh at one point asking me to smile, and a couple seconds later he goes, smile, he says it again, and I laugh and I'm going, I am, and we both laugh, but in that moment, it's so scary. My condition is worsening. Why, when I feel like I'm smiling, is he not seeing anything? Or very little. So after a while more, we are taken back, and they ask more questions, put me through some tests, and give the same diagnosis that I heard over the phone, Bell's palsy. For those of you who don't know, because I didn't know prior to this, Bell's palsy is a temporary facial paralysis which causes half of your face to droop or become stiff. So one side looks really normal, one side's all droopy. So they give me this diagnosis, and we leave the hospital. It's now 5 in the morning. So I told you, longest emergency room time ever, from 8 p.m. to 5 a.m. And if it's 5 a.m. and you've been at the hospital, what are you supposed to do? What we decided was the right thing to do was the McDonald's drive-thru. So we went there, got some McDonald's breakfast, and then headed back to Josh's parents' house to sleep. Well, a couple of days later, I am back at my OB's office for a postpartum follow-up visit. She says that I'm recovering really well from childbirth, but she says what she sees on my face is unlike Bell's palsy. I remember her saying, like, I'm a doctor that specializes in twins and childbirth, not Bell's palsy, but she says what is on your face is not what Bell's palsy normally looks like. Your whole face is paralyzed rather than just the typical one side. And so she says, I want to refer you to a neurologist and physical therapist. So she sets up those referrals, and I go to see the physical therapist. Well, at the physical therapist, she helps me with some different tricks to kind of help me cope during this time. So one of the things that was really difficult, like I mentioned when I first found out about this, was drinking. So I couldn't use a straw, and when I would just try to drink out of a cup normally, a lot of the liquid would be falling out of my mouth. So I would go over to a sink and tip and try to lean over the sink and just get whatever I could out of the cup and let the rest drip into the sink. Needless to say, I was not getting much liquid in me. So, what she taught me to do was to use a straw and to close my lips down around the straw to take a sip. And that was a game changer for me. I don't know why I hadn't thought to do that myself, but that just worked so well. I was able to finally be getting the liquid I needed. And then the other thing she really helped me with was I was having a lot of trouble speaking or being understood when I was speaking. A lot of the sounds we make, we use our lips in order to form the motion to make those sounds. And for instance, one of the things I couldn't really say was my last name. It was coming out more like "ots" because I couldn't make that "p" sound at the start. And so what she suggested to do was use your hand to lift up on your mouth. So just like you using your hand to close down your lips around the straw, use your mouth and go "pots." Lift your lip up with your hand. And so that really helped me a lot. I was able to be understood a little bit better with a lot of the things I was trying to say. And at the end of the appointment, she's given me these great tricks, and she says, I can't really do much more with you until you have some sort of facial function, because right now there's nothing. And so a couple days later, I go into the neurologist appointment. She puts me through her tests and agrees with what I'd heard before, Bell's palsy. And she keeps saying the word atypical. It seems like Bell's palsy, but it's atypical. And so she says, you know what? There are other things that could cause full facial paralysis. She listed off tons of other things. But a few that I remember, she included lupus, she included tumors, and then a host of other things I don't remember that could cause the full facial paralysis. And so she said, I'm going to put you through some tests to see if those other things are causing this full facial paralysis or if it is just Bell's palsy. So she gets me set up for an MRI, a CT scan, a lumbar puncture. And now I would just like to stop here and recap where we're at. So I have twin babies in the NICU. We are living with our parents. And we're trying to maintain some kind of relationship with our girls and not just leave them with the grandparents all the time. And now I'm spending my days getting tons of tests done. So life is starting to feel kind of awful. I'm scared that my face is never going to return to functioning. I have a hard time speaking since I can't close my mouth properly to make certain sounds. Now, currently, I work for my father-in-law who owns a painting company. So if you need your house painted, inside or outside, I'm the person to talk to. Basically, what I do is a lot of office work from home, and my main role is to talk to customers on the phone. And so at this point, because I'm really hard to understand, I'm worried, what does that look like for my job? Do I still have a job? And because of this slurred speech, I remember my girls saying to me, we'd like Dad to read us bedtime stories. And as wonderful as a dad as they have, he's great at reading bedtime stories. And I know that the girls meant nothing against it when they were saying that to me. They just simply wanted to really be able to hear what the book was saying. To have them say that just kind of hurt my heart. So I'm hard to understand. I can't close my mouth all the way, which makes eating difficult and pretty embarrassing. My eyes can't fully shut. So at times, they're either watering uncontrollably, just looking like I'm crying all the time, or they are so dry from an inability to blink. So now, to add something else to what's going on, I'm seeing an eye doctor regularly so he can check up on my eyes and make sure I don't get permanent eye damage. But the hardest thing during this time was that I couldn't smile. When I would try to make that motion on my face, nothing would be happening. And as much as I wanted to take pictures of myself in the NICU with my new babies, I just couldn't. I didn't want to see pictures of myself with that blank expression on my face. And I remember one day just crying in the bathroom at my in-laws' house. Have you been there, ever crying in a weird location? Please tell me it's not just me that is crying in bathrooms. Well, I'm in the bathroom, and I'm crying out to God. And sometimes our prayers are cries that sound like mine did. God, would you heal me? How long is this going to last? I remember one thing I would say was, will you just tell me how long it's going to last? If I could just know that it's like 6 months or a year from now or 2 years from now, Lord, I don't even care how long it is, as long as I know that there's some kind of light at the end of the tunnel. Would you just tell me how long? And in these moments of prayer, my prayers to God helped me to refocus. He reminded me that this was no surprise for him. God knew about the Bell's palsy, and he was still in control. This shift in focus, this remembering about who God is and what he can do, helped me so much. It took me out of my present despair and helped me look with hope to the future. But I will tell you, as much as this prayer helped me, my sadness wasn't all of a sudden gone, and I still had fear. Well, almost a month of the boys being in the NICU, they were released and we were able to head home. And we were all so happy to get home and to figure out our new life together as a family of 6. And at home, I rode the roller coaster of emotions. One of the saddest thoughts that kept creeping in was, what if the boys never get to see me smile? And I continued to pray to God for my healing because I believe that he can. And one day I thought, I'm not going to stop praying for my healing, but I think I need to also pray and ask the Lord what he wants to teach me in this time. And so I prayed, Lord, what do you want to teach me through this Bell's palsy? And I didn't get an answer that first night when I prayed. Instead, it came days later when the Lord helped me to realize 2 beautiful truths. First, he showed me the love of my husband. There is still no movement on my face. I can't smile. I don't feel like I look like myself. I'm postpartum, and yet his love for me has nothing to do with that. I remember being at one of our appointments, whether it was an MRI or a CT scan or something, and I had gotten changed into my hospital gown. I'm just sitting there, not feeling great, and he looks over at me and says, "You're beautiful." And in that moment, I did not believe that, but it helped so much to hear those words spoken from him, knowing that he truly meant that. And that was such a beautiful thing that I would not have seen had I not been in that situation. The second thing that the Lord showed me was the faith of my 2 girls, Ava and Joelle. At ages 3 and 5, they would pray for my healing every night without fail. On the days when I had given up and felt like the prayers didn't matter, they prayed. When life got busy and I would forget about praying, they prayed. They were consistent when I wasn't, and seeing their faith grow has been such a beautiful thing. And even to this day, over a year later, you can see that I'm still dealing with the effects of the Bell's palsy. I have had definite improvements. My eyes now close all the way. When I smile, you see some sort of movement on my face. You can see that I'm trying to give you a smile back. But I am not fully healed. And the girls still pray every night that God would take away my Bell's palsy. And I know many of you also pray for me, and for that I say thank you. Through my time with Bell's palsy, God has showed me 2 beautiful truths. Who knows when or if I would have seen these things had I not had Bell's palsy. I cannot imagine going through this last year to year and a half without my relationship with God. Proverbs 18:10 says, "The name of the Lord is a strong tower. The righteous run into it and are safe." When I was scared, the Lord was my safe place to run. When I was unsure of how things were going to go, I was reminded that he knew and he was going to see me through. During some low moments, the Lord reminded me of a song with truth about him. And those lyrics, some of those lyrics are, "You reign above it all, you reign above it all. Over the universe and over every heart, there is no higher name. Jesus, you reign above it all." These words spoke to my heart in some low moments. It told me, God is above the Bell's palsy, and he reigns above your circumstances too. God is doing good things all the time. But sometimes we're so focused on what's not good that we don't let ourselves look to God. Look to God and allow him to change your perspective. Can I encourage you today to run to God with your worries, to cry out to Him with your concerns? Your situation might not change in an instant, although it might, but I think your perspective will start to change. You might start to see things that you never would have before, like I did. And I would be remiss if I did not say that we serve a miracle-working God. When Jesus was on this earth, He fed 5,000 plus people with a little boy's lunch. He cured illnesses, He raised the dead, He opened the eyes of the blind, and He stilled storms. And He said, as recorded in John chapter 14, verse 12, "Truly, truly, I say to you, whoever believes in me will also do the works I do, and greater works than these will he do, because I am going to the Father." If you have been praying for a miracle, whether in your body, your relationships, or something else, I want to encourage you today to not stop. Our Jesus is the same yesterday, today, and forever. If He healed then, He heals now. He can heal our bodies. He can heal our hearts. And He can heal our minds. He can teach us new things in the struggle, and He can refocus our thoughts. In closing, I want to share a few verses for you to hold on to. Maybe it's for today, or maybe it's for a month from now. Maybe it's something you'd like to write down and read over and over again. Psalm 107 is a psalm of praise, where the author recounts many different ways that the Lord redeemed or has saved those who trust in Him. In each and every instance that people cry out to God, He hears them and He comes to their aid. So Psalm 107, verses 28 through 30 say, "Then they cried to the Lord in their trouble, and He delivered them from their distress. He made the storm be still, and the waves of the sea were hushed. Then they were glad that the waters were quiet, and He brought them to their desired haven." Will you pray with me? Jesus, You are good. In times that are scary and uncertain, You are good. You are a God who heals, and You are a God who cares. I pray, Lord, that whatever circumstance we find ourselves in, that You will open our eyes to new things You want to show us. I pray for miracles to take place in our lives. I pray, Holy Spirit, for more of You. As we spend more time in prayer, will You draw ever near to us, showing us more of You. Amen.
Well, what an incredible story of the faithfulness of God. I know living it with Ashley, we've been through it together, and so it's easy for me to understand kind of what this process has been like. But I imagine for some of you, this is the first time that you've heard the story, and so there's probably some questions that you might have. One of the questions that I thought of, Ashley, that somebody might have is, how are you feeling like right now? Like really?
Yeah. I think I'm feeling really good. Like you can see, and like I said, I'm not fully healed. But my attitude, how I feel about myself, I feel really good. Our babies sleep through the night, which has nothing to do with Bell's palsy, but that makes me feel
but it
really
definitely
good.
helps, right?
Yeah. And so yeah, I think I'm really hopeful that there's going to be just continued progress. Being able to see some change and not be in the same exact state that I was a year ago, I think that really helped. And then just time to kind of just walk through those hard low moments. But I'm not having those drastic lows like I was before, and I'm feeling like I'm in a good spot.
That's really good. I'd
Yeah.
agree with that.
Yeah.
I'm confirming that right now. For those that are in our church that are watching this and saying, I relate to this. I'm going through something difficult and hard, and I'm in the middle of it. How would you encourage people that are going through the middle of something like what you went through?
Yeah.
Or they're watching somebody go through?
Yeah. I would say, first off, that it is okay to be sad. It is okay to grieve. I think I would place a lot of weight upon myself of I just have to get through it and I have to be better, and I can't let people know that I'm hurting. And you don't need to tell everyone that you're hurting, right? But you can talk to a safe person, and you can allow yourself to be sad about something. There's so many times in the Bible where we see the psalmists and different people just sad and crying out to God, and God understands. Like, Jesus was here; He knows what pain is like, and I think first of all, it's okay to be sad and let yourself grieve, and then just keep praying to God. I don't know. I guess that's just what I did, just to keep being hopeful. Don't let your hope die. I think sometimes when we're going through a struggle that is a long struggle, and maybe we haven't seen any change at all, it can be easy to just to give up. And so I think I would encourage you maybe to re-engage if you have given up, to pray to God again about something. And to look with hope, and like I said in my message, also maybe see what can be learned through some really hard situations.
That's so good. I really like what you said about allowing yourself to grieve, because there's often this false sense that we have to be strong all the time and that nothing can touch it. It's just not the reality. God is grieved. We're grieved. It just happens. We have to go through that process, and it just feels sad sometimes. Thank you so much.
Yeah.
You did awesome.
Well, thank you.
Well, church, we love you. We care about you. We hope to see you so soon. But we are praying for you, for your families, and for your health. Stay safe. We hope to be with you again very quickly.